Jackson family court. Because of the emotional and sensitive nature of the issues presented here, Judge Franklin's courtroom is closed to the public. The proceedings are about to begin.
Now, since both sides will be presenting psychiatric testimony, I would appreciate it if we keep the discussions brief and gentlemen, if we can talk in layman's terms. Lady, too, please.
The only thought in his troubled mind that day was suicide. Your Honor, that's what we say.
This was my last program.
Yeah. Your first witness, Mr. Avery?
You need to review it because it's going to be in my next show.
Sheriff's nothing reminder to come forward that you were sworn in a moment ago as the series began.
That's ready. Let's go to the air later.
I have several commercials to pick up.
Yeah. Everything is working fine.
Well, Frank, you've been around these switches and buttons and tubes and transmitters for a bunch of years. What do you think have been the two most important advances in the years that you've been in TV?
Oh, without question, videotape and then color television. I think that that really made a absolute world of difference.
What about the future?
Well, it looks like things are going to go digital. And then down the line, a few years, we'll have high definition television. And I'd really like to see that carried forward.
Before you retire?
I don't know. I feel like I'm about ready to retire right now. It's been a long number of years.
Go over to the other room. My big day.
Here's what will happen from San Diego's fan in charge. The San Diego County Mountain Rescue Team is 3, 2, 1, 1.
Almost through. Hello? Yes? Well? Yeah. That's the date. Okay, bye-bye.
Franny, back in the old days when everything was on film, commercials and everything, how much film do you think you rolled through one of those moviolas?
Well, I think we could have our astronauts get one end of it, take it up to the moon and go around the moon, and maybe even when they go to Mars, they would have some left over for Mars a couple times.
Okay, what happened, my dog got hold of my glasses and chewed up the frames on them, and so I had to grab a pair of dark glasses. And I've been wearing these about 3 days, and they drive me crazy. People keep trying to look at me, and I can't see them, and they can't see me.
Yeah, now you put them back on.
Okay. So we sat down on Hal's breakfast table, took the prints of that building, and laid out a television studio. We took the front glass panes, glass area, office area. Actually, that's where they displayed their tractors. We divided those up into offices. And I guess it was 5 years later, we won an award for the best designed television station. And that's kind of how we started out. And of course, the building worked out so well, they're still in it today.
What up, Brother Joe?
Brother Gene.
We're on TV.
Good first time.
Where's it gonna be? Here. Oh, great. It goes there, like that. We got these. Make it come in at 24, please. 3, 2, 1. Take card. This is Ollie, my cue.
If police raid the place, a gunman says he'll blow it up. Good afternoon, I'm Monica Gale. A man who has already killed one person and is now holding 9 others hostage at a Utah hospital. We'll have an update on the situation coming up on News San Diego at 6 o'clock.
Dahmer's ex-boyfriend takes you into the mind of a serial killer and comes face to face with Dahmer's only living victim. Next, Donahue.
Do it.
Monday at 3, right here on KNSD.
Awesome. Taste.
But in the next 5 years, Gene, 6 years, is local television going to be like we know it today?
Good local television will be. I think, yeah, there will always be room for good news, well done news shows, public affairs shows. So, yeah, I think good local television will be the same. Or I hope it will.
Okay, Al, you've been a TV critic over all these years and watched a lot of television. Is television as good today as it was back in the 60s?
Well, certainly television news is a lot better. Than in the early 60s, when I was putting out a television magazine, not a critic, I've never been a real critic, I've been a television magazine editor, but the television news certainly was not really a competitor to newspapers. But in 1990, there's no question that television news is a major competitor. And in a lot of ways, but as far as television programming per se, a lot of us feel that the people who do television programming are catering down market, and that there were a lot of programs that were classic programs in the 60s aren't being produced. On the other hand, I can remember in the 60s a program called My Mother the Car, which was just as bad as anything anyone ever saw, and Mr. Ed, which actually goes back to the 50s, was hardly Playhouse 90, but then again Playhouse 90 isn't around either.
Okay, thanks very
information needed.
What
No, I've
time
seen
is
it.
it though?
Oh, okay.
6 o'clock.
70s and 6 starting October 5th.
Right.
Okay, everything's all right with the interview? That you've seen it or?
No, I
you're
haven't
into
seen it, as a matter of fact, but I'm just gonna do it.
All right.
I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
Thanks, Miles.
Ah.
Was the other script, except we're taking out that one little section about filming in New Zealand.
Mike, tell Fred that what Garrett's going to do for audio on foldback.
Well, yeah, we can,
You have to run it through the studio monitor. Just flip back and forth with Fred.
yeah, but there's a roll-in on the show, and we can do that before we interview David Hasselhoff.
Stand by. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're on Fred.
Underground Man is our movie with Peter Graves and a really good cast with him, as you
And
can
the
see.
ID's out.
Graves, now 66, is still one of Hollywood's finest horsemen and an avid outdoorsman who keeps in shape by skiing, swimming, and riding. Let's continue to watch the Underground Man here on the CNR Sunday Night Movie with our star, Peter Graves. Continue to watch the Underground Man here on the CNR Sunday Night Movie with our star, Peter Graves.
Was that a good take, boss?
It's not a good take, but for a tired old guy, you know, we'll let it go. I don't know.
You ever acted, Fred?
Yeah, when I was in college, I did. In the 90s.
Would you like to do it again?
Right now, it's not realistic. I don't have the time. Someday, when I cut down some of the other things, I would do it again. Yeah. Might be fun.
Little theater?
Sure. Little theater or big screen, I don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, Kathy?
Yeah.
Would you, give me about a minute of your time?
Sure.
Yes, I will, but not now. Is this the stuff that Pete put together, or?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Right. Well, we've got Kleinzell Project, and we've got the Coronado K's, and we've got the 2-minute segment that we made. Jim, I guess you're gonna look up over your left shoulder at me here.
Just grab a food server since that machine doesn't do anything.
Well, actually,
Does that dog have?
if we can move this dog up to here and move this dog over here, it's not just the television industry anymore. Television is part of all industries. And so I would say to students to look at any industry they have interest in and find out how video applies to that business and make their own opportunities. Not just rely on production skills as the end, but using production as a means to an end. I think that's probably the one piece of advice that I'd give a student coming out of the university system today.
So what? How do you think? I don't know until I see it. So you want me to draw it now? I know, sometimes I just... That's good, that's good. By mistake. Let's go with something like that. Along either here or here. Something simpler along the back? Yeah, have a, like a, you could put this in the back almost.
So, but it all has to match though, doesn't it? We start with,
But it's all gonna be painted.
so, I mean, we can mix and match particle board and other shit.
Well, they're just spending too much time on that. They're spending too much time. I'll work it out.
Jerry, grab a
Why don't you take that down to that, now let's see. Does that go, yeah, that goes down that end. Hang on. Whoa, okay. Flip it up now. Yeah, I'd rather have you use a cosmetic sponge or something. Huh? Okay, now we can put up the base. So you can just take the base.
Then you can just take it all apart again.
And we can put it up there. We've got room for the braces here. Got the
We need a couple.
silver circle that I'm looking forward to. The golden brick. That's what I want.
Don't
Whoa.
10 more years.
Come on. We're gonna have to go this way.
Typical.
Is that what you do on Saturdays?
Saturdays and Sundays and a few other times. You know that when, back when Jack Rather came in and bought half interest in KOTV, he was a close friend of the Rathers, Miggins, and God, the Duchess of Windsor and the Duke, and you know that's pretty heady business for someone as young as I was, who was an Okie from Oklahoma. He has some room temperature. Here and there.
That's when you're not buying.
If you were 25 years old, had a chance to do it all again, would you invest in TV as you did back in the 40s and 50s?
Indeed I would. I'd love to have the chance to put the first television station on the air in the state of Oklahoma as I did in my early 20s. I'd like to do it more than once. Unfortunately, that's not possible. But it was a rare opportunity to be able to do that as a very, very young person, and particularly as a woman, because there weren't very many women in radio, and I think there were practically no women in television. So it was a very enriching and enlightening experience, and I'd love to have the opportunity to do that one more time, as they say.
We got one to do the job. But you know, he leaves in 2 months.
Wooden box or something broke behind it.
This is back in television when he started, Mills.
If you had to pick 2 of your best years in TV, what would you say they were?
Yeah. I think when I first started, way back a long time ago, probably after we went to color, and I was working on the Sun Up show, and I was a floor director, and we used to open the show with, we had May Company, which was one of our big commercials, and they used to bring in hats and wigs and things, and Joe Stell and I used to open the show with hats on with our back to the camera and turn around, and there was our ugly faces when we opened the show. I think that was fun at the time. Everything was fun in the early days, especially on Sun Up and the Bob Dale show.
More so than now?
Oh, a lot more so than now. Now everything is oriented towards news, and so that's practically all we worry about.
Who was the host on Sun Up in those days?
The host was Bob Mills.
He sure was a good guy.
Great guy, good host.
can't. Here, that's right. I'm gonna give him friendly here in a minute, but he'll be all right. Okay.
You want to put him in the house?
No, I just want you to be able to catch him if he starts to leave. Our Little Rascal Family Theater. We're converting them into home video. Yeah. My wonderful husband.
Before you start your home video, Lynn, can I ask you that one little thing about the old days and whether what you did back on Channel 10 was as fulfilling as what you're doing today, or vice versa?
I would say it's as fulfilling because I'm still staying in the line of work that I love so much, being in front of a camera or producing programs behind the scenes. And that's what I'm doing today as well, the last few years on community television. And now we're in the process of taking the best of our programs from the Little Rascals Family Theater, the interviews with the adult Rascals, and putting them into home video, along with the best of our positive alternatives and living programs for home video. And then it's very satisfying because I'm with a natural health organization that I can talk about, well, extended life and extended health. And to me, these years are very important. But nothing takes the place of the exciting years of the 50s, being a pioneer, I like to call it, not the olden days, a pioneer in television, and being the first hostess of San Diego television.
Well, I was going to give our astronauts one end of the film so they can take it to the moon with them. And leave it up there and maybe have a KFSD, KOGO, or KGTV logo up there so that we would be on the moon.
That much,
as well as in San Diego. Yes, that
you
much.
say the film probably would have stretched around the Earth, what, 3 or 4 times?
3 or 4 times, definitely. Definitely. Probably thrown that much away, commercial-wise, since we went to videotape.
So that, but that has no depth really, unless I just throw. You don't need depth in the back. You don't need depth in the back area here. You've got, in fact, that's the problem. You have too much depth. This is too interesting here.
What about putting this balcony like this right here, with this being this part of the wall? No, and then run the stairs down the side like here.
No, it's too fancy. You're okay with this. You're okay with this. Move them out into this area here. Take this wall and angle it so it opens it up a little bit like this. Take this one, opens it up a little bit like that. Now it's looking more in this direction.
Yeah, your first witness was great.
You two recruited because it's going to be in my next show.
Sheriff's Committee reminded us to come forward that you were sworn in a moment ago to serve the gang.
In fact, while I was working for the airline, they decided that they wanted to get a TV station in operation. So before I left the airline, we were actually working on the TV station.
And was that when Stannis was here?
Yeah, right. In fact, we were looking for a manager, and well, someone said, well, how about George Standish, you know, and he was running an advertising agency, and he was anxious to get out of that, so he was our first manager.
Yeah.
I believe it was gray, and then we put a egg crating up all over the studio for the sound. Used the old Image Orthicon tubes. They were good for about 200 hours, and they cost $1,250. And if you remember, if you left them on anything 5 seconds, they would burn the image in. You lost a $1,200 tube.
Yeah.
And so you had to keep panning them all the time. And I was talking to Frank the other day, because we became involved with one another out here at KFMB in 1955, I guess it was. And we were talking about the old days and the old Image Orthicon tubes and the kinescopes. And everything, for the most part, was live outside of kinescopes that we would get. Because we weren't on we call it the micro relay system, or cable, what they call it now. And we had young directors that would go in and do 4.5 hours live programming, Bob, back to back, from one type of show to a different, from variety to talk show, one director, and minimal rehearsal time, and everything was live, and it just went out like that, good or bad or whatever.
Back in the old days.
I think it was a lot more fun back in the old days, but the new technology and the equipment and everything is so much nicer to work with now. Now we're seeing the age of computers, and a shelf computer you can buy now and add a few things to do it. Could replace a $250,000 special effects amplifier, which may cost you $12,000 now. Things have really changed.
Yeah. Graves became one of television's foremost stars during 7 seasons as Jim Phelps in Paramount Television's award-winning series Mission Impossible. A teenager of very talented Peter Orness, that's a family name, was an excellent athlete and fine musician with the clarinet and sax joining the Musicians Union at the age of 15. He and older brother Jim were also teen radio announcers at different local Twin City radio stations.
Hello, Silver Circle winners.
What, you write that script, Fred?
Yes. That's why I have no excuses if I can't read it.
Yeah, that's right. You should hear them bitch and moan when someone else writes the script for them.
Is that true, Danny?
And Joy, you make a note now that when we start, that the first shot, I do want the pigeons, the homing pigeons, and Friendly in it, all right? And then Jack, when I start to talk about Life Force and the products, then I'll put Friendly down. And then you watch that he doesn't take off in the other direction, put him in the house then for me. Our homing pigeons. That's Millie right there, and that's Happy. And they're used to me singing them a little song. These are my homing pigeons. And I raise them, and they're my pets. And they fly all over San Diego.
When you talk, why don't you look at the camera?
Oh, look at the camera. They fly all over San Diego. They do. They're in what they call the white flight, for our special wedding ceremonies, any special events.
And they always come home?
And they always come home. Of course, this is a good home. They're fed well.
What are you fixing up anyway? You want my uncle to fire you?
Wait, I see him. Do you have a pin or something that you can stick on this?
I need 2 clothespins.
Dave.
Boy, Mills, this year, look
ahead and do it, so.
Yeah, holding this. Go up on top here.
Be right back.
How long have you been here at Channel 8, Jim?
Channel 8, 26 years.
And in those 26 years, you saw a lot of changes.
Started in black and white, and went through color, and now we're in computer graphics. It's a lot of change.
But the game is different today.
Oh,
Stations
entirely.
are so costly.
Oh, yes. Well, you see, if I had known what it entailed, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it. It was only because I didn't know that I was able to go out and get it done for a very small amount of money compared with what people do today. We had great credit with RCA. We were able to buy all of our equipment from RCA on credit. We were able to put our antenna on the top of the highest building in Tulsa, the National Bank of Tulsa. We didn't have to build a tower. And we went on the air and operated the first year with 22 people.
And what was the initial investment?
In actual cash,
Yeah.
about $300,000.
And today to buy that station would take?
Oh, heavens. I have no idea. When I sold it to Jock Whitney, the J.H. Whitney Company, we sold it for, I think, $11 million, and that was in the late 50s. So I have no idea what it would be worth today, but many, many millions of dollars.
No, I can turn it up over here. Oh, what happened to it? Oh, bummer.
21 to 10 here as we get late first half in Tulsa. I don't know that there's
For what?
a more unlucky college program than TCU. Every year they have major injuries.
Did you find it?
Offensive defense belongs to it. Of course, this week it's Leon Clay who broke his leg.
All right.
He brutally murdered and dismembered 17 victims. What turned the seemingly quiet man from Milwaukee into the most monstrous murderer in recent history? Why did the police ignore the repeated complaints of his neighbors and refuse the pleas of his escaped victims? Jeffrey Dahmer's ex-boyfriend takes you into the mind of a serial killer and comes face to face with Dahmer's only living victim. Next, Donahue.
That'll work.
Yes, it will, but not now. Wouldn't you know it? I call Mick and he's not here. Well, I'm not sure if that's going to be a good idea or not. That was really good.
Okay.
Jim, I guess you're going to look up over your left shoulder at me here.
Just grab a free server since that machine doesn't do it. We'll just put that on the screen there. There you go.
So with dogs, you didn't tell me we were doing dogs for Christ's sakes. I thought this was a segment for Playboy Channel.
No, we don't do that kind of work here.
Well, Bob, coming into the Silver Circle means a couple of things. It's nice to have survived this long in this business, but it also means that every 4 weeks I have to go to Lydia of La Jolla to have some of the gray removed.
You have become one of the old farts.
Yeah, one of the old farts. It's kind of humbling. But I'm still known as Captain Mike, which is also humbling when you're an old fart.
That's better Pee Wee Herman, I guess.
Well, right. He'll make a comeback. He'll be a TV weathercaster. Don't worry.